Hi, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Getting to Know the Team behind MA Inc. I am your presenter, Seshni Moodley, a legal consultant at MA Inc. I have with me today a senior legal consultant, Mrs. Niksha Bhaga. Hi, Niksha. How are you doing today?
Hi, Seshni. I'm good, and you?
I'm well. Okay, let's rock and roll. So what inspired you to become an attorney, and what has been some of your career highlights over the past 14 years?
Okay, so I wasn't one of those that took the traditional route into law. I wasn't one of those people that knew no, law is what I wanted to do. Growing up, I was actually drawn towards more the creative pursuits and generally considered something like graphic design. But somewhere along the way, it became clear that I have a natural ability to navigate difficult conversations and find my way out of a tight corner. And someone close to me pointed out and suggested, "Why don't you do law?" That kind of stuck. And looking back, I guess they saw something in me that I didn't, I didn't see in myself at the time. So my career started. I started my articles and spent a number of years at one firm, building a strong foundation across several areas of law. And I guess that experience was invaluable. It shaped how I think, how I approach a problem, and how I serve clients.
So I guess it was sort of a calling from a greater being to be an attorney.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess somebody just seen something that I didn't see at the time, and grateful for that.
We're definitely grateful for that. I know your contributions to MA Inc. are invaluable, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
So let's dive into what you do at MA Inc., which is commercial law. It seems complex to business owners and often an area that is overlooked by some of the younger entrepreneurs. So let's break it down. What do you think are the most common legal issues that a business may face, and how can they be proactive to lessen this risk?
So, in my experience, I find the most common issues businesses face usually fall into two categories, and it's either your compliance failures or your contractual disputes. And what's consistent about it most times is the timing. Clients never come to us early enough. And what we see, or what I see repeatedly, is that businesses either drafting their own contracts or worse, operating entirely on WhatsApp messages and email trails. And there's no agreement, no formal um, terms being placed, there's no protection. And that works fine until it doesn't. You know, the moment a supplier doesn't deliver, payment isn't made, obligation isn't met, then suddenly the only evidence you have is a WhatsApp trail. So for me, that's not a foundation that anyone wants to be standing on. And by the time most clients walk into my office, the summons is already on the desk, relationship has broken down, and the damage is already done. And the most frustrating part is that all of this could have been avoided from this. So, what I suggest or what I advise business owners is get legal assistance from the beginning, having your contracts properly drafted, your compliance obligations understood, your rights clearly protected, costs a fraction of what litigation actually costs you. And prevention is always cheaper than a cure, but it's a lesson most businesses don't learn early now. Um, so yeah, my message to business owners is don't wait for the crisis. You know, bring your attorneys on board early on, structure things correctly from the beginning, and this will save you time, money, and stress in the long run.
So I guess this would apply to SMMEs that are just starting up. Do you recommend to the young entrepreneurs out there to start engaging with legal professionals from the inception inception of the business, so before employees are brought in or operations commence?
Definitely. South Africans within the South African contracts, uh, we operate in a heavily regulated environment. And that comes from Companies Act, Consumer Protection Act, copy, B compliance, and the labor legislation. So businesses need to navigate all of these compliance issues and try to operate and still grow your business. And if you bring someone on board early on, those headaches can be resolved without you having to stress about it yourself.
That's very important. I think in this new um, commercial world, it's important to integrate legal concepts into everything you do in business. And that's where MA Inc., for example, comes in.
Definitely. All of these headaches can be resolved, and you don't need the stress that comes with it. Just, give it off to somebody else and you focus on growing your business and, doing what you love to do in the first place.
Absolutely. So, for all our viewers that may be aspiring legal professionals or business owners, what advice would you give them regarding building a sustainable and legally compliant business?
Okay, so to my aspiring legal professionals, the first thing I say is that the legal profession is nothing like what you see on TV. It's not suits. Most of us are not walking around with one high profile matter in a corner office. The reality is that law is a collegial profession, and it's about resolving disputes, finding solutions, and working constructively even when the other side is difficult. And there will be those moments, and you'll encounter, attorneys who are hostile or unnecessarily aggressive. And my
Mhm.
advice to them is just be a bigger person every time. Your reputation is built over years and lost in a moment. And in this profession, I think your reputation is everything. With regards to business owners, I think I've already touched on being proactive about legal support. Um, but legal compliance is not a grudge purchase. It's a foundation, and sustainable businesses are built on that solid contracts, clear governance, and an understanding of the regulatory obligations. So if you get those things right from the start, you have you give your business basically the best possible chance of surviving, but also thriving.
That's definitely powerful recommendations, and I speak on behalf of our viewers and myself. I think that is necessary to deploy in both practice and in running a business. So, Niksha, you mentioned the emotional toll that it takes to run a business as well as to practice law.
Yeah.
So, how do you deal with this emotional strain? Who is Niksha Bhaga outside of MA Inc.?
Outside of MA Inc., I'm a goofy kid that never grew up, I think. No, I dealing with all the stress, it's kind of get to a situation where you need to switch off. And for me, that's being with friends, family, and sometimes just, a good book or a movie to lose yourself into. But yeah,
I definitely like reading. I mean, all attorneys, we have to read, right?
we
Do you?
do, but on a personal level, it does become tedious. So sometimes a movie is a better option.
So, what are you reading at the moment? Do you have any book recommendations for us?
Oh, wow. At the moment, I'm reading a book, Dan Brown's Digital Fortress. It's one of those agent crime kind of books. I enjoy the thrillers more than anything else. So yeah, this fits into that category.
That's very interesting. I've definitely enjoyed my time interacting with you and also working with you at MA Inc. Thank you for making time for me today and for our viewers. I speak on behalf of them. I'm sure they've also had a great time listening to your insights and recommendations that they'll be deploying into their practice and hopefully daily lives.
No, thank you so much, Seshni. It's been awesome speaking to you and working with you as well.
Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned to our series, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.